Led by a lifelong interest in healing, Dr. Linda Salvin pursued an advanced degree in epidemiology. Then, after dramatic near-death experiences, Dr. Linda saw the other side and returned with gifts of insight, visions, and revealed wisdom. Now those gifts are ongoing, and she's here to share them with you. Get ready to be amazed. It's time for Dr. Linda Salvin's Psychic Solutions podcast with America's original radio psychic, Dr. Linda Salvin, offering up her always fascinating blend of psychic psychology, clairvoyant insights, and expert guests and alternative healing methods. So pull up a chair and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hello, I am Dr. Linda Salvin, and I am the host of Psychic Solutions podcast every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And today we have a special guest to me. You may know him if you watch cooking shows online, if you are in the LA area and you've listened to LA radio for 35, 40 years. I'm going to bring on veteran radio personality. He's been on TV infomercials. He's done consulting. He films, he creates documents. He's an all-around talented man. His name is Mark Alyn. Cook and Late Night Talk today is what we're going to be talking about with my friend of, 25 years maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Something like that. Something around those
Something
eras.
like that.
In the 90s. We met in the 90s, and we've shared some interesting experiences in the broadcasting industry, the media industry, with people that we know, and like any other field, once you get to know the people and the players, it becomes a small world. But Mark's always been a friend. Mark's always been enlightening. Mark's always been educational. He and his wife have come to events I've had, and you develop a friendship. It's not just business. Hey, can you do this? I'll see you there, type of thing. This is a friendship, and we share.
Everything but chocolate we share.
I will not share chocolate. Plus, I don't eat chocolate because I've been off sugar 14 years. But you can have all the chocolate you want, dude. I know you're a chocolate whore. You're a chocoholic. But, you cook, you do broadcasting, but your son's also a professional chef. So did he learn from you? Did he take from your guidance, or did you pick up the food show after he got into culinary? Where did all that come from? Let's go back. Let's start with food.
I was a restaurant critic in the 70s.
You were with Larry Lipson? What's his name?
I'm sorry?
Who did Larry? What were you?
Oh,
writing?
Larry Lipson.
Yeah, was he?
I met Larry. I knew Larry. I was a member of the Southern California Restaurant Writers Association for years. And I wrote for a number of publications in LA, One National, and also out here in Ventura County, where I live, and Santa Barbara. And I've done radio, TV, and print for restaurant reviewings. And
I didn't know that. I didn't know it went that far back. Sorry.
So, well, you weren't even born in the 70s.
But I bet you my mother used to read your column because my parents were like restaurateurs, and anybody who knew my parents would call them for the references to restaurants in LA, Europe, England, all through Italy or the Orient, because they were always eating out. And they just wanted top of the line food. I bet you if my mom were alive today, she'd know your name.
Yeah, well, and anyway, so with Josh, we're out in the backyard playing ball, and he would drop it, and I would drop it, and he would drop it, and I would drop it. So we went in the house and started cooking. And at 9 years old, he created a truffle business, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it is. He's pretty successful. He's up in the Bay Area, San Francisco, right?
That is correct. He's a private chef up there.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But this is about you. You gave birth to him. You created him.
Well, not exactly.
Well, Carol did, but I mean, you created him. Sorry, I'm a little off today. But as far as your parenthood, you've got a daughter. You're a grandfather.
Yes.
So that's your personal life. But going back to your professional life, when you were in college, did you start in journalism or broadcasting? What was your passion when you were younger?
It actually started in high school. I always wanted to be a doctor. and then I got smacked up the head with something called math, physics,
Yeah.
and
I can see you as a
trigonometry.
doctor.
And then in biology class, they wanted somebody, and I couldn't do this today, but they wanted me to pith a frog, and I got extra credit for pithing a frog. And then in chemistry, I passed the class because I spoke at parents' night so that the teacher wouldn't have to, and and so I just kind of fell into it. And I thought at first I'd be a speech teacher, and then I discovered broadcasting, and it's a disease. Once you get it, you can't get it out of your system. And so I've done everything. I've done network radio. I've been on a number of um, uh, things like Lifetime and CNBC and things like that, Financial News Network. Locally, I was on KWHY TV when it was a financial show, a TV station. And so I've done a wide variety of things. And, I produce videos. The cooking is because I really enjoy eating. You can't see my tummy, and I've changed my camera so you can't. But I do like to eat, and so I've always cooked, and during the pandemic, I had a question. I wanted to promote a book I wrote called "Growing Old Sucks." I have it back there. I thought I had one here, and 99 cents on Amazon. There's my plug. Um, and somebody said, well, what are you making for dinner tonight? And have your wife hold your iPhone up and talk and pretend people are watching. Well, they were. And we had a couple hundred people watch that first time. This last month, we've had roughly 50,000 people download and watch Mark Alyn Cooks on YouTube.
Isn't that wonderful? I remember when you started and you weren't sure what you were doing. I think a Halloween show or something. We played off the psychic and the witchery, but you kept going, and now you're up to 50,000 or more, and you've become famous, or you're on your way to a new identity with the cooking show that you just thought was a fluke. Who was the one that said, hold up your phone? Do you remember who gave you? Well, of course you do, but who gave you that idea?
The Jennifer Abernathy, who from Socially Media, based in the DC area. She's become a very good friend, and she's the one who helped start this thing.
I love this. What's one of the most favorite foods you've cooked? Because every week you've got either a different ethnicity, a different topic, a different type of food, something unique, a different culture. It's varied. It's not just brownies.
You just answered what my favorite food is. Last week we did sabach, which is an Israeli sandwich, and there's a twist on it. We did this with Faye Levy, who's written 23 cookbooks in like 4 different languages, maybe 5. She is an expert in Middle Eastern cooking, and a sabach is made with eggplant, hummus, tahina.
Oh, you're making me hungry. Is there baba ganoush as well? All of it?
I love baba ganoush. No, I've got to have her back and learn how to do that. But
if you learn how to make baba ganoush, let me know. I definitely want to learn that one.
Yeah, I prefer baba ganoush to hummus.
It's easier to digest, and you've got eggplant as opposed to the chickpeas. A lot of people are that way. Right? I like both.
And so that's my favorite because that's on today. We recorded that, pre-recorded the show tonight, and we did vegetables with Melissa's Produce every week. We for the sabach, I got eggplant and I got cucumbers and we got tomatoes and onions and garlic, and every week we get produce from Melissa's, which is and the produce is terrific. But everything that I make is my favorite at the time. I had a craving for a steak last night, and I grilled a skirt steak and put it in a sandwich, and I was in heaven. I don't do that often. I try to stay very healthy, but
you're doing a good job considering that we're in this other decade that we've crossed over in the last few years, both of us. But you're fine.
I'm
You're
39.
healthy. Oh, you're 39. Okay. I'll just speak for myself. But cooking, I've watched you and you have fun. And I know Carol's with you with the camera. So you've got your wife and soulmates, live, love, work together. And you guys do a lot together between travel and work. And I mean, she's got her thing and you've got yours with the broadcasting. When it comes to the cooking show, I know she's helped out. I know when I had dinner with you a few months ago, we had a wonderful meal at what's a famous chain of restaurants, but the buffet is delicious with all their salads and their steaks and everything. But what is there any one food or any one dish or any one cultural dish that stands out besides chocolate that you just absolutely love, that's so unique that maybe the audience has never even heard of?
Well, it's interesting because I think of food as two things. I think of food as an art. That's one. But I also think that food can bring people together. Okay. And so you learn about everybody's culture. You learn about everybody's lifestyle through their food. And so I love French. I love Italian and trying to make some of the recipes that people send me, that people ask me about. And in doing that, I learn about cultures. I learn, in the Middle East, it's hot. And so eggplant is very, very significant in cooking. We were just in Turkey and there was a lot of eggplant there. So I don't have a specific favorite. I suppose between Asian and all Asian food. I'm on a big Korean kick right now. I
love Korean food and the Korean steaks and the sauces with the onions and the spices, which is different from Japanese or like shabu shabu, where you take the hot water in Japan and you've got your chopsticks and you're cooking your vegetables and your meat. But the Korean taste is different from the Japanese taste, which is different from the Thai taste, which is different from the Chinese, and then the Chinese and every culture from the north and the south, like Italy, different parts of the country, just like here in the United States. We're the West Coast, but you go to the South, it's different culinary. You go to the East Coast, it's different again. Every culture and community seems to have a specialty. Yeah. So you're a food connoisseur.
Well, I would call myself a foodie. I'm not
you're a foodie.
Yeah, I'm not a trained chef. I'm a home cook. I may be a little bit above average for a home cook, but
I think you're more than above average. Give yourself some credit. Yes, you know how to cook. You're a gourmet chef. You may not be at the level your son is with a restaurant or being flown over to a different country to be a private chef at times. That's not quite where you're at, but your thing is broadcasting and teaching and communicating and sharing with others.
And the idea of the show is simple. It's if somebody is single, somebody's say over 50 or 60, they're divorced, they've lost a spouse, they've lost a significant other. What do they do for dinner? Well, they bring in pizza, and the kitchen is used to stack empty pizza boxes.
No, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, it's hard being alone. I am single, and there's times I hate cooking. I love to cook. I love the practice of cooking. But for one person and all the ingredients or the leftovers, and I'm the type, I always leave one. I don't know why, but there's one leftover. There's one chicken breast. There's one spare rib. There's one hamburger. There's always one that rots, or there's an extra head of lettuce or the extra carrot. It's not like having a spouse or kids where it goes away quicker because I'm feeding a lot of people. It's hard. So for your audience, you have a lot of people that are individual, and they have to
Yes.
learn.
Or even a couple. I mean, what a great way for a single woman to get to know somebody. You invite them over for dinner. There's your there. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what they say. Wet a man's heart's through their stomach. Is that true, Mark? Is that how Carol got you?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Is that how Carol won you?
No, that's how
Through your
I won
stomach?
Carol.
Through the stomach, through the heart.
Yes.
You guys, you should see Carol. These are like little Bobsy twins. They're the cutest little couple, and you guys have been married. So you're together 48 years, 48 years, but how many years ago did you actually marry?
46.
All right.
46 and a half.
And you have a birthday coming up next month.
Water.
So
that's
okay.
Water. That's not vodka.
Okay. So you're just a couple of weeks away from your birthday. So you got engaged, you met the woman of your dreams, you had your birthday, and your life took off almost 50 years ago to where you are today.
Excuse me, I'm a little depressed in those years.
I know, it's hard to believe that we're at this passage
Yes.
of time.
But we look so good.
We look, compared to some people out there, yeah, we do.
Right?
Because you take care of yourself, and you do a health show. You've always been into health. You've been, let's talk about the late night health, and we'll go back to the food and the chocolate and the different culinary tastes and spices and the experiences. I mean, every culture, every person has a grandmother's recipe, a mother's recipe besides your own recipe. And then you meet all these people from different lands and different cities and you bring it together. But what's late night health about?
Well, I met a guy, and we just hit it off. His name is the insane Daryl Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And Daryl is one of the nicest people, if not the nicest person that I've ever met in broadcasting. And I've met a lot of them. I have friends in the East Coast and the Midwest, all broadcasters, but Daryl is just really special. And he said to me one day, he said, "Hey, if you could go back on radio, what would you do?" And connecting to my psychic powers, which are nominal, I said the following: I want to do a show that's integrative in health, connecting both alternative and allopathic health together. And
what's allopathic health?
Allopathic is traditional doctor health.
Okay.
Yeah, Western health.
Yeah. And holistic is combining mind, body, spirit, and using alternative methods. For those that don't understand what Mark and I are talking about, I am an integrative health practitioner as a psychic healer and a medium, but I'm also a doctor of metaphysics, and Mark's in that field of healing.
Well, I'm actually.
Well, you bring on people that are the chiropractors, the herbologists, the practitioners. You have a passion to learn and teach. You're not actually the practitioner like I am.
Yes.
But you have a passion for the industry, the field, the activities, and to stay healthy.
One of the things I want to talk about is with you is waiting in line at a doctor's office. You have to cue me on that one. But I think that that's not what I wanted to do. I knew Daryl was going to say to me, "Would you like to do a show?" I knew he was going to say that.
But how could you not? He's in radio and he owns a station.
Yes, but here's the thing. When he said that, and it's been like 12 years now, over 1,000 episodes. I thought I would say I want to do a food, wine, and travel show. I didn't say I wanted to do an integrative. It came out of my mouth. It was shocking. Daryl said, "Yeah, let's do it. We could start tomorrow," and I panicked. And I waited I waited a few weeks and talked to a number of people to see if it was something that would be viable. And we're one of the premier health shows now in the country. We're on all the major networks. We're audio 90%, 95% of the time. Occasionally we do videos. And we talk about everything from the gay health to senior health and everything in between.
So are you getting into like certain products? Like I promote a DNA nutritional product that is based on our own individual DNA, but it's customized and clinically dosed for the body. Do you get into certain products and herbs as well? Or do you do more of the treatments like the chiropractors or the practitioners or the massage therapists or the whatever?
I talk about products. This is one that, but I don't endorse them.
Okay.
I do like this particular one. I don't know why women in general like to put hand cream on, right?
Oh, you don't know why? Because our hands are tough or they're dried out, and then when they feel silky.
I guess, and so
you don't do that?
I don't. And I know that I don't even like the feel of it. I like the feel. This one's not so bad. And this is,
well, some are greasy and thick and heavy, and some are silky and slinky and absorb right into the skin. So it depends on the product and the manufacturer.
This one is good. It's B&U skincare, and well, you saw the footage of the scariest thing I've ever done.
Yes.
Right, where I actually held a live beehive. I mean.
Too bad we don't have a clip of that, but you can talk about it. That was in when you were in Istanbul, when you were in Turkey?
It was just outside of Istanbul, Turkey.
How did you get involved with this? He sends me a link, says this is the scariest thing I've ever done. Guess what it is? I'm guessing, and then I couldn't guess for the life of me. I said bungee jumping or parasailing, because that to me is scary. No. Open up this link, and there he is with the hood and the mask and the screen where you can see out, and you're all covered up, and he's holding a whole tray of bees. How did all that happen? How did you get to the bees?
Well, I met the owner of the company, whose name is Dr. Astley. She actually has a PhD in food science, food engineering. And she and I interviewed her, and we just hit it off. And she said, "Why don't you come to Turkey?" So I did.
Just like that. Is that why you guys went? It was
just like that. And we did a lot of different things in Turkey, not related to bees, but we went to her R&D lab, which is state-of-the-art, FDA-approved lab, and manufacturing. So
what does she actually manufacture, or is it all food related? But
she does both skincare and supplements.
Okay.
And they do things like one of the here's a product I try to remember to use. This is a bee venom. And I always thought, and I said to her, when you take the venom from the bee, doesn't it die? And they've developed a way so that they can take the venom and the stinger doesn't come out. That's one. And two, a lot of times beekeepers take all the honey in the hive, which can kill the hive. They don't do that. And they do like 20 tons of honey a year.
That's a lot.
That's sweet.
That's a lot of honey.
Yes.
Speaking about bees, this is a little off topic, but it's on topic. I love bees. I knew somebody was starting his own bee honey company. He's now relocated to Oregon. I haven't spoken to him in quite a while. But where I live in the San Fernando Valley, and we know that the bees die, I have this thing that whenever I see a bee on the pavement, I say, I'm sorry. I pick it up by its wings and I put it in a plant or the ivy or a tree or something. I get it off the pavement. I don't know what it is with these little baby bees, but I just every day. Today I picked up 3. and I put them in the bush. And it's like I give them a proper burial rather than just plopping down on the hot cement. There's another bee. I think they live 41 days or something. They don't have long lifespans.
I think it's about 40 days. Yeah.
They're born, they swarm, they go get the honey. They've all got different jobs, but when they're done, they're done. And then I see these little bees everywhere. I tell you, Mark, I don't know what it is, but I just have this passion for the bees. They did their job. I say thank you, and I put them back.
Well, one of the things we're talking about with B and U is that she says every home in America, if not the world, should have their own beehive.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
And the reason is because bees are dying. They're dying because of pesticides. They're dying.
That's why I apologize to the bee, because man and environment are killing the bees, which is our infrastructure.
Have been shown to decimate bees.
And the glyphosate.
Bees, there are no people, because bees pollinate something like 90% of all vegetables. Okay. And plants. And with that, without the pollination, we won't have anything to eat. So we need to keep the bees alive. And
which is probably why I apologize every time I see one, because I know the pesticides, the weed killer, the glyphosates, the sprays on all the food to protect our crops, which is really poisoning us as humans and the little bees. And I feel bad for them, because yes, it's not just feeling bad for the bee, but I know why it's dying so quickly, because of what we as human beings are doing with the environment and the technology. It's always the big wheel. If it's not technology, it's the insurance companies. If it's not insurance, it's going to be pharmaceutical. If it's not pharmaceutical, it's medical. Speaking of standing in line at a doctor's office, I went to a very famous blood dispensary kind of draw blood place today. I was a half hour late. They were a half hour late, but there were a lot of frustrated people sitting in the office, in the waiting room, waiting to go in to have their blood drawn for their test. And, we have to stay healthy, and you got to watch your markers. But while you're sitting there, a lot of people are on the phone. So when you're on the phone, they can find shows like yours or mine online. So it's not all lost causes. And yes, when we're standing in line or trying to get a service, we have to show up in life. What's your message for the person who's sitting at the doctor's office or who's sitting alone, and they turn on your show and all of a sudden they're inspired to cook?
Well, I have a couple of things. I
got off topic. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I was thinking about the bees. I couldn't segue. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Jumping to topic number 2. I recommend that people call their doctors by their first name. I learned this years ago, and the reason you do that is quite simple. You want to be on the same playing field. When a doctor is Doctor and you're Mark, well, you would be Linda, you wouldn't be Mark.
No, I would be Linda, you would be Mark. That's true.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, I got confused. What happens is that the doctor is here, and it should be like this.
We put him on a pedestal, but I do that. I have taken away the doctor from certain doctors through the years where I don't feel as intimidated. That's one thing. Yeah, level. Yeah, you're right.
And the other thing is that who's in charge of your health care? You or the doctor? You.
Both of us. We have to take the responsibility. They can make a suggestion or a diagnosis or a prognosis depending on what the situation is. Right. And it's like with my tagline, like a prescription for your soul, I may prescribe or suggest natural products, candles, a session or whatever, where the MDs and that world is prescribing protocol, which could be pharmaceutical, or it might be physical therapy, or it might be more blood, or it might be exercise, but it's not the same prescription that an alternative person might prescribe. But overall, we're all trying to teach somebody's a way to be the healthiest they can be. And that's what you do with your cooking, and that's what you do with Late Night Health. You inspire people. About how many affiliates do you have now with Late Night Health? How far have you grown with that?
Well, I backed off of broadcast, I believe, as you know, a few years ago. We have a couple of stations, one in New Mexico, and the other one in Northern California. But we're on all the podcasting networks, the major ones, Apple,
iHeart, Spotify.
iHeart, yeah, all of those. And I find I get more response than I had from the radio broadcasters, though I'm always interested in adding more stations, but on my terms, not on their terms.
It's hard. People think, let's just go into radio for a moment. You sit down, you're at a mic, you got to talk, you got a theme, you've got an audience, and you think, okay, now everybody's going to hear me, and they're going to come back, they're going to order product or book a session, or they want to subscribe to something or pay for your book or something. And it doesn't always work that way.
No. It's
sorry.
And that's okay.
That's the nature of the beast, isn't it?
It is. And it's, to use a sales term, it's low-hanging fruit, whatever's easiest. And we all tend to do that. But you have to work at it. I have a degree in broadcasting, radio, TV, film, and never took a course in what the most important part of broadcasting is, or filmmaking.
What?
Hold on. Video production, radio. What do you think it is? I'll tell you, it's a 4-letter word. That
Work.
Well, that's the second 4-letter word.
Love?
No. Sell.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have to sell. We have to market. See, people, that's true. If we don't market, we don't sell, we don't advertise, we don't promote, it goes nowhere. You need to get someone to book the show, work the show, produce the show, edit the show, upload the show, market the show, explain where it is. And in today's world, which we did not have growing up, we have the SEOs. You got to get everything SEO'd so it hits the Google and it ranks properly. So it's going to be food, it's going to be health, it's going to be radio. It's complicated.
It is. It's very complicated.
Direct marketing is not like it used to be. And
the bottom line is it's sell. And it's not taught that I know of. Any schools out there that want a course for a weekend, I'm your guy. It's very important that people understand that. You can go into a class at any university that teaches broadcasting, and you can ask the students what they want to do. They want to direct, they want to write. Okay? They don't understand that they also have to sell. Spielberg sells his movies. Projects.
Yeah.
He has to. Okay?
Let me ask you a question. I had somebody else in the broadcasting industry on a few weeks ago, and he's had 50 plus years in radio, David Bernstein, whose show was a few weeks ago. You introduced me to David Bernstein 20 years ago or whatever it was. And again, it's that little world that it's who you know and how you know, and you may not talk and then you talk. David spent years and years and years. You've spent years and years. You, David, and I come from pre-internet days. So broadcasting has changed because the platforms are there. It's not just AM, FM, then it became satellite, and now it's internet. So if you were teaching, Mark, or you were talking to somebody who's watching the show right now and they want to be a broadcaster, everybody and their mother's a podcaster, but most podcast people don't monetize. Again, you have to sell and you have to figure it out. And you have to understand how to promote. If you were teaching at a college and they said, oh, I want to be a broadcaster, I want to be on an AM station, I want to do rock and roll, I want to do news or whatever, what would you tell them with today's market? It's a different market today, and people don't understand how much is automated.
Look, the internet is great.
Yes.
But the internet is one big infomercial.
That's true.
That's what it is.
Isn't it interesting? Everybody's become a specialist of something. Everybody's promoting themselves. There's no niches anymore. There's no calamity or single entity that stands out. Everybody is promoting themselves. Instagram, yes. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube.
Right. By the way, if you go to TikTok, at Mark Alyn, Cooks,
you can see the bees. That's where
you can see the bees. Yes. We've had 100,000 plus views on that. One of the things that we should say is that it's no longer broadcasting; it's narrow casting. Okay, people who are interested in metaphysics is one segment of the total population. Somebody who's interested in cooking, even though everybody eats, is another small segment of the total population. You know, I could do a search right now, if you'll let me.
Sure.
I'm going to do a search right now on worm keeping.
Worm keeping.
Yes. And
worms. Okay, now we're going from bees to worms. Okay.
Right.
And we got the crickets food. You want to talk about the crushed crickets?
Earthworm raising. And there are literally thousands of views on how to grow earthworms. I mean, I can't believe how many. There must have been, was it 70,000? Wait, I'm looking for the number. But there's just all kinds of and you can, you know, so if there's an audience for everything.
Mm-hmm. Right? I see what you're saying. Yeah, everybody's got something. Nobody's exclusive anymore. Everybody's got. There are things out there that have millions of hits, and I work hard, and I'm like, I don't get it. What's the difference? Why do they want that versus this? Or, you know, well, the Kardashians spun it out more than anybody, and you know, I had a little share with our friend.
I have a question.
Rand.
You mentioned. Yeah. I don't understand them, and frankly, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I don't think that they're all that attractive. They're all
it's all plastic surgery. It's all been doctor created.
Enhanced.
Yes.
It's
well, as you know, through our friend that you worked with and I worked with, the producer brought on Chris, and I decided to hire her, and I paid her $25,000 to do my infomercial. When you came to my rescue and said, "Oh, Linda," and we won't go on from there, but I did pay a pretty price for that. But as my Wicks of Wisdom went one way, they became these billionaires around the world, and they're known around the world as this new empire. And just last year, 2 years ago, Sky Entertainment came to the United States and filmed a bunch of us to do a trilogy on the Kardashians. House of Kardashians is what it's called. I got all the tape from me, ended up on the floor, except for one little piece from the infomercial where Chris is in the arms of then Bruce, and I was near Randy, and she says, "Don't mess up my hair." Not about the Wicks of Wisdom, or that I gave her start back into the industry when nobody would hire her, but don't mess up my hair. But I don't know how they got there, except if you watch that, then you'll understand. But it's like Warren Buffett says, they're famous for what? Again, it goes back to what you just said, Mark. Sell.
That's what
they do. To market and sell. Chris knows how to sell her kids and herself. And look what they did. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of who you know. And it's a lot of stepping on the wrong people or the right people at the right or wrong time too, right? I mean, it's not always pretty.
No. And speaking of something that's not pretty, allergy time.
Sneeze, Gesundheit. Gesundheit.
All right.
So better. That's okay. That's okay. You know, what I love talking to Mark, it's like you're just in his living room and we're just hanging out. We're just chit-chatting. It's not like being on and pulling information or trying to impress. But we're two people that work really hard. We help other people. We get messages out there. We do a lot of content. But there were, like if most people were combating an industry that keeps changing, and you have to learn to keep up with it with the technology, and technology changes. So where you went from being on the air, behind the mic, AM, FM stations, to segueing into the internet, and then with the video of your own versus videography for other people with your infomercials, the media bites that you've done, plus writing a book or two. Are you going to do a cooking book? I think you are.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing a cooking book for people over 50.
Mark Alyn Cooks for People Over 50. There's your title.
Yeah, we're more of us than there are of you.
It's a whole different generation right now. And it is. The baby boomers are, well, we're older. 60s, 70s, 80s now. You know, we were the Woodstock kids, and we were the pot smokers, and we were the hippies, and now we're the...
All right, were you a hippie?
I was in high school, but I still, I bleached my hair out blonde with sun in. I played guitar, smoked dope, didn't know what to do, except all I wanted to do was play music. And then I went off to college and made some mistakes in school, following somebody to school, thinking we were going to get married. And then he married someone else. I went on to grad school, and the rest is history. You make a decision thinking you know what you're doing, and then you get there, it's like, oops. And then you think it'll go away, and then you get back, and it's like, oops, it's still part of me. That's all part of life. We make decisions, we make choices. Sometimes you can undo it, sometimes you can heal it, sometimes you can forgive it, but you can't ever forget it. You just got to live with it. We live with our decisions. You've had ups and downs. Not everything was just a straight line from waking up one day and saying, this is how I'm going to get there. Is it?
Right.
No.
You are correct.
Well, I'm also correct that you've burned wicks of wisdom in the past. I'm going to plug Wicks of Wisdom for a moment. Sure. Mark burned a few sets of my candles along the way, and he also knows about the infomercial because we go that far back. But there were a couple of times you had some success with the money and success power. I think you might have done good luck power once you moved blocks, obstacles, negativity. But I remember that you had called at some point really happy with what was starting to transition with some of the candle work that you did. Let's talk about that for a second. Then we'll go back to the skincare or nutrition or food or chocolate.
No, I think your candles are very helpful and direct. They're easy to use.
Yeah, they are.
They smell good, and they're easy directions. It's almost like having Linda in your house.
Yeah, it is. Wicks of Wisdom are for sale. People just go to my website at lindaselvin.com or wicksofwisdom.net. And if you email me prior to your purchase, I'll give you 10% off. Chocolate. Let's talk about chocolate. I remember that movie that came out, about 20 years ago on chocolate. Wasn't it a French movie? Do you remember where she was?
Yeah, there's several, but the one with Johnny Depp?
No, not that one. Was he in that one?
Wasn't he?
Well, there was one where the girl was like the waitress, and she falls in love with the chef, or she was the chef. It's something. It was always about chocolate in France. I can't remember, but I can see some of the characters. I don't remember the one with Johnny Depp. Oh, chocolate! I
thought there was one called Au Chocolat, and she owned a chocolate shop.
Right.
And everybody.
Johnny Depp was in that.
I thought he was, but.
We have to look up for maybe getting her facts wrong. I don't know. It could be. But Oh Chocolate, you're right. She had a chocolate company, but she felt it was all about love and the type of chocolate and the type of emotions.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh Chocolat movie. Let's see. Johnny Depp and Judi Dench.
I'll have to walk it. Judy, I remember. I'll have to watch it again because I really don't remember Johnny Depp in that movie. I guess he was young, and that was before he became, a pirate. Anyway, what's your favorite kind of chocolate? White, dark?
No, white chocolate doesn't exist.
What is it then? It's
just sugar. Milk. It's just sugar. There's no cocoa. There's no. I like dark chocolate. I like some milk. I like orange and chocolate is one of my favorite.
I love orange and chocolate.
Right.
Or toffee with chocolate.
Toffee with chocolate is good.
Yeah.
And these are indulgences. They're not necessarily healthy.
No, but dark chocolate does have some medicinal properties.
Yes, it does.
With the oxides. It helps with the blood. It does. Not that you're going to eat 3 pounds of chocolate a day to make yourself better, but when you have a little bit of chocolate, it purifies the blood. Not only that, a lot of times depression is lifted because of chocolates. It's because of what's in the chocolate, not necessarily what chocolate does psychologically. Says, oh, I'm hungry, I got to binge, I got to have some sweet tooth. No, there's chemicals in the chocolate that actually serve like a norepinephrine or a dopamine for the brain, especially women during their periods. They'll eat chocolate because it makes them feel better. It's medicinal. It's medicinal.
Which is why we can use chocolate is given at Valentine's Day. Right?
Because they love everybody and they want us to love you guys. You guys want us to love you back when you give us a box of chocolate. Just go ask Gump. He always thought about a box of chocolate being life was easy, like his mom would say. We got 5 minutes left. This has gone too fast. I'm going to talk more about chocolate for a second. So
sure.
when you're eating chocolate, now there's cacao, which is the powder. But is it actually chocolate, or it comes from the cacao bean, which doesn't have the same sugar content as what chocolate has, right? So if you buy, I can eat cacao in a drink or bake it with eggs or make a little souffle or something, and I'm not set up with my insulin. If I have sugar and real chocolate, quote unquote, I go nuts because I'm allergic to sugar. What's the difference between... Maybe I just haven't had it for 14 years, so I don't test it anymore.
Wow. No, I like dark chocolate, and I don't make my own. I don't use the powders and do that. I buy a pre-made bar and we'll melt it, and I make a dessert scoop of vanilla ice cream, sugar, a poached pear on top, and then I pour
that
chocolate.
Sounds good.
Oh, it's really good.
So it's almost like a s'more that we did at camp when we would take the graham crackers, a marshmallow, and the chocolate and push it all together. But here it's more decadent. We are at home with the hot melted chocolate on top, ice cream and a pear. That's good.
Mine is Pear Saint Helene. It's a traditional French dessert.
It sounds so decadent. I bet we're going to have that at the French restaurant when you go out to dinner to celebrate. You should have some to honor.
I don't know that they have that, but
you could probably request it. Teach them. I bet you they do.
Yeah, they may. We'll see.
We've got about 2 minutes left. Mr. Mark Alyn, long-time veteran radio talk show host, videographer, infomercial maker, teacher, funny guy, cook. We can find Mark Alyn Cooks on YouTube. We can find everything over on TikTok. You can download them anywhere you want on all the hundreds of platforms out there. I'm not going to name them because we're all on them. So in closing, what would you like to say to the people out there besides selling?
Respond to us. Let Linda know that we're here, and say hi. No, in closing, thanks, Linda. It's been a great, I don't know what, 25, 30 years, whatever it is.
It's a long time. We've built a friendship.
A long time.
Yeah.
It is a long time. We'll have to have dinner again soon.
Yeah, we will. Sit there. I'm going to say goodbye to Mark Alyn, and thank you for taking the time to join me today. The show is two people from broadcasting, just talking to you people, that there's ways to communicate, there's ways to sell, there's ways to market, but it's your life. You choose your path, you choose your career, whatever you want to do. Just know that along the way, things are going to change. The elements are going to change. The industries are going to change. The way things are done are going to change. But what doesn't change is your faith, your hope, your passion, and your dedication. Mark's been doing it 50 years. I've been doing it 40, 35 years. And if you really want something, get up and do it. We'll talk to you later. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin, Psychic Solutions Podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed Dr. Linda Salvin's Psychic Solutions Podcast. You can reach Dr. Linda at 888-509-1077 or at lindasalvin.com. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.